now I'm a lot better. I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm a lot better. Why and how has ESSC60 helped me in this recovery process? Like, what is it exactly that it did to help me? Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. It's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another inspired conversation. I love talking about health, well being, how to elevate that in all of us. How do we create the best possible version of ourselves? That's literally one of my most or biggest passion subjects. And I couldn't think of two better partners to talk about this than our dear friends, Patty and Chris from C60 Evo. Thank you so much for joining us again today.
Hey, John, great to see you.
We love you.
Right back at you, friends. Great to see you guys. A big thank you right away. We're going to talk about it today. Thank you, the C60 Evo, the ESS60 that you guys produce, really helped me during a severe recent health event. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. But first, let me ask you, how are you guys doing? What's going on? We're going to start with you, Miss Patty. What's new? What's fresh?
Oh my God. I let myself dip into local news this morning, and it was probably the biggest test that I've had in a long time of gaslight. Like, are we really moving into the greatest time of all? I hope so. I'm counting on it. And then I look at local news, whereas I live in Boulder, near Boulder, Colorado, and I'm just reading what's going on. The crime is so huge. And then in Aurora, there's unbelievable gangs taking over apartment buildings, and our governor is dancing with his little arm dance, Feliz Navidad. And he's got this video, and he's so joyful, because he says nothing's wrong. So
Wait, don't they say joy through strength? Isn't that what they're pushing out there right now?
do you mean the Nazis or the? I'm sorry. So anyway,
Oh, potato. Sorry.
yes, potato, potato. Depends where you're from, but I'm from Colorado, and we're letting our reps, is all I'm going to say in air quotes, ruin things because we're not stepping up. And here I am trying to be calm and quiet, but I'm actually doing it. I'm staying calm and quiet, even when I see local news, because of this great blessing. He's
Well,
60
you know what?
ago.
Let's hit the tradition. Let's take a shot together,
Oh,
shall we?
amen.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I'm going, yeah, like you, brother. I'm going for the olive oil here.
I'm going avocado today because I do so much of the
Cheers,
MCT.
friends.
Cheers. And anybody out there, join us. Have you? I love the avocado flavor. I always forget because I hit the MCT in my morning coffee. When I hit the avo, it's so smooth and nutty. I forget
Well, I'll be.
I really love this.
I just went for olive oil in the last week or so. I just needed the full, the strongest, whatever. So, Chris, I got to ask you. You know, I shared this on the air. I'm just going to shortly recap. It appears that I had a very severe allergic reaction to poison ivy or poison oak, and I didn't even know you could have that. But the most extreme neck pains and headaches I've ever experienced in my life. And you know, we had to postpone this conversation, so I barely remember even emailing you, Patty. But you just said, well, just increase your
I
C60, your
did.
ESS C60 intake, and I just did, and Chris, from everything that I've read and heard and what people have told me, is this should have taken 3 to 4 weeks, what I've been going through, to kind of now I'm a lot better. I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm a lot better. Why and how has ESSC60 helped me in this recovery process? Like, what is it exactly that it did to help me?
So before I jump into this, I'm going to throw out our typical disclaimer, right? The FDA has not evaluated our product. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. We have a number of people who share with us. And again, assume this won't happen for you. Just sharing some kind of anecdotal information, dig into the research if you're interested in trying it.
So it's a pure coincidence. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if you pure coincidence. we have had a number of people, and we're based in Houston, and I don't know if you guys know this, it's probably been officially called the allergy capital of the world, because people who have never had allergies their entire life will come here and then they will get allergies. There are certain times of the season. I don't remember this happening. I moved between the north and the south, but maybe it does happen up north. But our cars will be green with pollen, right? Like there's just a green powder over everything. So it's pretty bad here. And we've had a number of team members just like, my allergies are significantly diminished, right? And then what you're talking about is an allergic reaction and what might be the cause, right? I can only, like, we haven't dug into it, we don't have the evidence, but I can theorize what might be the impact. And it has a lot to do with allergic reaction is your body kind of over responding to an allergen or a foreign body, and really that comes in the form of inflammation. And so it's possible that our product is addressing that inflammation, and then we can get into like how that might be happening, addressing that inflammation and helping your body not overreact to that allergen. And so that's kind of long and short. How might it be doing that? Well, one, we can already say that we are a great anti-inflammatory, at least as it's related to exercise-induced inflammation, right? So we do know we handle acute inflammation. Certainly, allergic reactions would fall into this acute inflammation. We just can't talk about other types of inflammation because they're directly associated with diseases. The other is when you start to think about it, and I know we've talked about the BOSS theory, right? The buffering oxidative stress system, where the molecule, this ESS60 molecule, gets into the mitochondria, the powerhouse of every cell. And, just like every powerhouse, there's a negative output. And in the case of mitochondria, it's reactive oxygen species. When those mitochondria get overwhelmed, this ESS60 molecule can hold on to those reactive oxygen species so they don't do any damage. All of that is going on. Your mitochondria is on hyperdrive. That's what these allergic reactions are. And even back during COVID, a lot of the big challenges that people were having were their own immune systems on hyperdrive and creating a cytokine storm. You may remember that phrase getting thrown around. That's just basically inflammation, and that's probably why this has if it's helped you, that's probably why.
Well, coincidentally, I'll say this: I increased my intake, and my recovery has increased in speed. So that's the phenomenal coincidence of this, which I'm extremely grateful for. Like I said, I've also finally reduced to pain levels to where I can function, which is a blessing. So a heartfelt thank you, and just an observation that I've shared so many times, but because I see it every day. I'm usually in charge of feeding our older dog, and sort of the younger one is a rotational principle. Whoever's out with her and comes back and does it. But with our older dog, I'll usually do it. So religiously, I put a full dropper of the dog ESS60 on there. And if I'm gone, yeah, exactly. If I'm gone and somebody for some reason forgets it, at 14 years of age, it is visible. The difference is visible within a day. This is what always see my health levels are really, really high usually. So I feel improvements, but there's not like, oh my God, I limped yesterday and today I'm not. But he literally will go from limping because of arthritis to walking, relatively comfortably and stuff like that. So I just want to say that's a continued observation that I love. So we're always stocked up. We're always stocked up. It makes all the difference.
The thing that I love about that is, and we've probably said this before, but there's no placebo effect with pets, right? Like, we're talking about cutting edge. Not many people know about ESS60 is the reality. We're working hard to do that, and you're helping us, kind of exposing it to your audience. So this is a cutting edge nutritional supplement, health supplement. And one of the first things that you should be leery of as a consumer of a cutting edge nutritional supplement, well, is it just placebo, right? We know placebo is everywhere, but it's not where dogs are. I love the irony of they're not smart enough to realize they got the dropper, so they're not going to limp today, right? Like they either limp or they don't limp.
And full disclaimer, nobody claims this is like a magic potion that's just gonna get rid of everything forever, and your dog's gonna turn 100. That's not what you're talking about, but a great increase
Hmm.
in quality of life. I mean, that to me, as for my companion, that's as good as it gets. So I'm really grateful for that. And Miss Patty, you mentioned earlier that sort of emotional stability, right? And this is in during these times, this is a huge subject, and we talk a lot about, and we share a lot of techniques how people can do that. Prayer, meditation, breath work, which is incredibly important. These are game changers. But you also said, well, my shot of ESSC60 supports that too. How is that? Why is that?
Well, probably because I buy from the only lab in the world I trust, and they've been doing it 33 years with integrity. So I call it the good stuff. And the evolution of this carbon 60 industry happened with our company at our lab 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when they were selling industrial grade for 30 years, 25 before I met them, and doing very well and selling to research institutions around the world who received the product, and then they test it to be sure it's got exactly what the scientists said that sent it, and it does, because we test every batch before they go out into bottles, before they go out to the public. So when we say this bottle has 0.86 milligrams per milliliters, or zero point 0.8 to 0.86, it does. But when we tested the industry of the span of 22 other products, they weren't even close. And I think the difference is real lab, garage basement. And I did have a little company before I met Chris, and it was garage basement. And I was just discovering the product, and I was absolutely amazed. And then I got connected with Chris, and I was like, I want to do the real deal, because I know that for this reason I'm still here. And I went through some very unfortunate years, including the C60 industry, where I trusted people and they weren't at all what they seemed. And I was in the field of UFOs for 10 years, and I trusted people, and it wasn't what it seemed. So here I am, 71, and I've been through chapters of where I learned that I was very confused by what I was told. I even rode a Harley for 10 years. I don't know why my chapters are 10 years, but the back of my vest says Sturgis 5 times. And I even walked with the Hells Angels on Main Street, who took over my
For
dad's.
some reason, I can see that. I can actually see that as a possibility. You have enough Maverick and Rebel in you. I can totally see that.
It's the
Oh,
shirt.
no, I mean, you should have seen me on Leopard Bra Day, riding through
Oh,
the yeah. I don't really want to confess to your audience, but I do have a music video of me on my Harley with a guy on the back. Gorgeous
with
guy.
a guy on the back, of
Guy
course.
on the
I
back.
mean,
Yeah, I was a little wild, how many years ago? Oh, I don't want to admit, 20. But no,
yeah, yeah. By the way, Miss Patty, if dear friends watching this, if Miss Patty looks familiar to you, it's because of the crop circle and UFO films she's done, and you've seen her face around if you're interested in these subjects. She's been on our channel talking about it too. So that's where I know her from. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, our show that we did a week ago has 28,000 views.
That's fantastic.
Now, when I add that up in my brain, that 28,000 people in a week have listened to you and I tell the truth about crop circles, I call it telling the truth, because I'm the only one that's talking about the real science of William Levengood, and I was in more than 100 crop circles. So I'm going to say 98% of your audience is so full of love and gratitude for your show and what you bring, and also for what I brought to your show. And then there's that 2% of angry little bots and bitches that are, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, there's no such thing." And I used to reply. Now I don't. Now I just kind of step back and say, treat yourself how you wish. And now in this ESS60 industry, there's no competition. We're the only lab in the world making it. But my boys, also make carbon 60 for industrial purposes: ink, tires, photocells, batteries, not something you're going to put in your mouth, but the garage basement groups at 30% of concentration level of what their bottles say. I don't want to show our bottle. I'll do the back of the bottle, but it's a lot of industrial grade, and it's not what we recommend for people scientifically, medically, energetically, and kind of like this quick change-o of Biden's gone, she's in, and people are going, I want to vote for her because she's the first woman. It's like, but give me another reason, and they don't have one. So
Plus, is it not like genders don't really exist anyways? I mean, what does it matter then, right? If genders don't really exist, I mean, what does it matter?
I know
Just using their arguments against them here. But
I
it's
like
how I
it.
feel
I hadn't
about
heard that.
this also.
Like,
can you
I mean,
imagine,
I'm
Chris,
only
as a scientist, the discussions? I mean, do you sometimes just scratch your head and go, "What has happened? Like, where did we take such a wrong turn?"
I don't think he
yeah,
listens to us.
I don't know where the wrong turn went, right? Like there are things that are binary, like that's this is one of them. Now there's little tiny fractions of people who exist in these interims, right, where there's
Yeah.
genetic dysfunctions, actually, right, like compared to the norm. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean they're dysfunctional, but from a
No.
genetic perspective, they're not where they're supposed to be, right? And I don't get how we even have these conversations. I saw a video of Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about, like, just leave it alone, and like, I think it's scientifically relevant. I think it's important, and I'm happy to call you whatever, but you don't make me call you anything, right? Like that's not how this world, and this whole Patty's probably never seen me talk about this. This whole concept of you have the right to not be offended is offensive. Like,
Well, there was this lady, I think in British Parliament. She said it beautifully. Getting offended is part of the package deal of life experience. Deal with it. Deal with it. It's gonna happen. That's just what it is. But you don't have to right to dictate to others what they can or cannot say. I think we fought pretty hard for that. Over
yeah,
centuries.
yeah,
Well, the big meme now is it's unfortunate when smart people have to be quiet so we don't offend dumb people.
Yep.
We're
I
in that chapter right now. And my CPA team and Chris's, wonderful, smart people. But I was the little conspiracy girl the last couple of years. And I was like, I don't want to do quarterly taxes. I don't think they're even going to be here. And so I was like, kind of, And so I got hit with a ridiculous fee for not, trusting the broken system. And so all of a sudden this year, they're putting out one after another newsletter warning, it's happening. And I'm like, wow, our straight, meticulous team of tax people are really seeing it for what it is. I just want everybody to see it for what it is before November. It's why I wear this shirt. I fly flags on all my vehicles, and I'm building my vehicle lot in my driveway, but I got flags everywhere. And I think it's really important. If I don't say it, I'm going to friggin' wear it.
I love that. I love that. There's one really important thing. We're gonna officially launch your newest product today in a moment, but I just want to get quickly back to that one question because I think it actually, and Chris, and address it to you. So one of the things that I keep hearing is sort of emotional stability, if you will, or greater balance, harmony, um, that people experience when, especially more long term, when they take the ESS60 for longer periods of time. What is it because there is an optimization in the body's processes, or what? How could you, without making medical claims, how could you sort of bring the two in connection?
what might be the explanation? And I can definitely cover that. First, let me tell you, one of my favorite testimonials in this regard is a video that we have of an influencer in the UK. She started her video and she was like, "Hey, I'm in the middle of quitting smoking." And I was like, in that instant, I'm like, well, this is going to be a bad video. Because if you've ever known somebody who's quitting smoking, like, it's not a pleasant experience. They're typically not pleasant people to be around. They don't say much positive. But she went on to give a really positive testimonial about the product. And one of the things that she said in it is, I find that I have a longer fuse with my son. So she had a, I don't know, 5 or 6 year old son. Like, to have a longer fuse with your child, if you've had children, like,
A
that,
5-year-old son? Yeah, you need a long fuse.
yeah, you need, and hopefully they don't have the fuse that they're setting something on fire and blowing something up. Like,
Yeah,
you
no
need
kidding.
that long fuse. And so yeah, we really do believe that. Now, we talked about mitochondria. If we're making the mitochondria less destructive, right? Again, car going down the street, you've got exhaust. Power plant, you've got smoke coming out of the power plant. There's bad things in those. In the mitochondria, the case is the reactive oxygen species. If you're fixing that, right? If you're mitigating any damage that can happen when the mitochondria gets overwhelmed, and everything's overwhelming now. We're overwhelmed with toxins. We're overwhelmed with radio waves. We're overwhelmed with stress. Like, all of these things overwhelm our systems. And again, the mitochondria is responsible for providing the energy to the system. When they get overwhelmed, these reactive oxygen species can get out there. The ESS60 molecule can hold on to them. Now, when you think about emotional balance, every cell in your body has between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria, except for your blood cells, which don't have any mitochondria, and your brain cells, and also nerve cells, but your brain cells have 2 million mitochondria each, right? And that's how much energy they have. So if you're taking away that negative impact that the energy production has in 2 million of these organelles in every brain cell in your body, in your head, then, like, you can imagine, that's going to help you fire on all cylinders. That's why our most consistent testimonial is, people take it in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. So I think that's where that balance comes from. And we do just have testimonial after testimonial. Some of it's kind of, like, how do I interpret this, right? One of them, and I've probably shared this before, a lady, after she got on the product, cleaned her garage, right? And I think that's an energy thing, right? Focus and energy during the day, but it can also be an emotional thing, right? If you've got, the baggage of an ex in a garage, you don't want to tackle that particular project. Like, there's just too much emotions tied up into it, and it's energy intensive. People clean. We don't have a marketing campaign this way, but I think her name's Gwen. Gwen cleaning her garage really actually means something significant.
I couldn't agree more, and it's always interesting for me. So I'm seeing the long-term effects, right? That's what I'm seeing, and every time we have a conversation, and you explain this, it clicks more for me. Like, then I kind of realize the little effects all over the place, and to me, this is always, and this is what this is always said to me, is this is something that over time continues to improve. It's like a gift that keeps on giving, and which is, of course, what optimization is, right? I mean, these are depleted things in our system, overexposed, strenuous things. So that takes some time, and I think we're in such an instant gratification society that we also need to, hey, it took a while to get here. Give yourself a little time for the healing process too. So this is how we see it. Um, Miss Patty, I'm going to give this to you because I know you were so excited when you sent us this newest product that you guys developed. You were so excited about this one. I have it here with me. Tell us all about this here, please.
This is our brand new C60 Evo Rich Body Cream. And it is scented with tangerine for the very purpose of what we're talking about. The ESS60 is going to help your skin and bones, not skin and bones, but skin, hair, nails. The ESS60 helps pretty much everything head to toe. And the thing about the tangerine is it actually subliminally makes you happy. Take a smell. Can you
You know
feel
what? It's getting to me, tangerine, and that smell is, I don't know why I associate more with fall, and it's getting colder. This also, it used to be in the little oils that we use. So to
Mm.
me, it's so appropriate for the season too. It feels, I love the smell of it.
Well,
Just
then
love
look
it.
at the colors. If we're talking about fall, the colors in
Yeah.
the jar are totally Halloweeny.
And of course it has the full effects of ESS 60 for your entire skin, not just the face balm, but now the entire body, head to toe.
Right. And it's a big bucket of it. Eight
Yeah,
ounces. I
and
mean,
rich.
super rich. We have a great formulator, and she's done a few of our products, but you were talking about immediate gratification. We do have two products, in my opinion, that are immediate, only because my friends have called me the first morning and gone, oh, come on. This cannot work
Yeah,
that
yeah,
fast.
I do. Yeah, I do love this one. Yeah,
And
Chris and I both
Yeah.
do.
I actually have laughed about your wonderful opening to one of our shows where you kept it down and you said, okay, I just want to say I'm a manly man, but I use this. I
I do. What can I
love
say?
it.
It's
C60
always it's
Evo.
always handy every morning,
Well,
and every night actually too. Yeah.
and again, the essence. This one is rosemary. I mean, between my face, my arms, and every other part that I use the cream on, I just smell like a walking garden. I really love rich essences that are natural. But this is 21 natural, organic, vegan ingredients. The advanced facial serum almost at the bottom. Gonna have to pop open a new box, which luckily I have. But this is the box that comes in. In my opinion, such a lovely presentation when you first open it. I mean, if you're going to give a gift of C60 Evo, I love this one.
Yep.
Because it's okay, I can't fit it back in. Revive, replenish, rejuvenate, probably because I didn't close the lid. But it's there's such nice gifts when you can give something that's not going to make people load the chemicals into their skin. And so the Evo, we've intentionally created organic oils from really good sources, and the ESS60. There's two ingredients in here, period. There's two ingredients in here, period. And I can pronounce both of them, ESS60 and extra virgin organic cold pressed olive oil. Like the best you can find. My men have been at it for 33 years. So I've got the easy job of just bringing in the right influencers. They've got the consciousness to say, I'm going to take it every day. Oh my God, I notice the difference. So my friends and family, sometimes, not very often, a few of them have said, yeah, I got a lot more energy, but that's about it. Oh, wait, this doesn't hurt anymore.
Wait. So
Wait.
yeah, I got a lot more energy, but that's about it. It reminds me of, I don't know if you remember the late Dr. Wayne Dyer. He was a very prolific author and speaker and teacher. And so he wrote this book, and then he went on a speaking tour. And he, at the end of one of his presentations, this lady walks up to him and says, I read your newest book and all, but it didn't really do much for me. All it did is that I lost my fear of death. And he said, oh, if that's all it did, it's kind of like, oh, so you're telling me this gives you a lot more energy, and that's not enough? I mean, if that is all that it does, people drink coffee for that every day for their entire life. So there you go.
Yeah,
To
but
me,
it's not all. It's not all. It took this
no,
much.
no.
It took this much this year and the years before for me to really load up my body with the proper ESS60 miracle molecule, because this year hardly anybody can tell, especially because I did a little dance in my weird pants before the show, because I'm wearing dance pants now. I'm wearing things that make me feel it when I walk. So I find myself strutting more because I lost my ability to walk at the end of last year. I was
That
attacked.
is a scary thing.
Yeah, I was attacked by a few really low frequency entities that had human form, terrible people doing terrible things. But I tell the truth, and it threatens people that don't. And so when Chris met me, I was a wobbling. I was really affected, is all I want to say. And the Friday before he flew me out to Texas to meet them on Monday, I was rushed to the emergency room in an ambulance. And what? Because I'd been poisoned by another bad person with uranium, and I was finally getting the effects, and it put me in the ER. So that person got away with it because I live in Boulder, Colorado. And wow, but I survived. And by Sunday, I was like, oh God, do I have the strength? I don't want to tell them. I don't even want to tell them what I've been through because, but Chris knew. He knew who I was. And that's the only reason he was willing to fly me down. And we became partners quickly because I've got the integrity. He's got the integrity. I have the audience. He's got the lab. I love his product. He's okay with somebody crazy like me, but I'm not crazy. I'm very focused when it comes to business and telling the truth in times of universal deceit. We are at war right now, and it's a spiritual, mental war that most of our neighbors and family members might not know. And so we have to live in this parallel universe of knowing stuff, but being really quiet for dumb people so that we don't look crazy.
The thing is, the not knowing is even worse because the effects are still there. They're still
Yeah.
suffering from all the effects of fifth and sixth generational warfare, but not understanding what they're suffering from. That's what makes it so difficult. So when you actually do bring an explanation, it's like this can't be true, but it is. I mean, you're spot on with what you just said. And this is why we have focused so much lately on helping people find the services and products that help them protect themselves and become and stay the best possible version. I can't even emphasize this enough. We will live in times maybe where we won't need to constantly supplement, but right now we are in those times and we need it. There's just no way around it. So this is why I I often say I intuitively, my first thing is intuition. Then I go through the science, the study, the research, and then the last step is intuition again. Does it align with me? So I would never ever touch a product, use it, or recommend it to my children or my parents or my family that I don't intuitively feel aligned with. But once I see the benefits of it, I want everybody I love, including our wonderful Inspired tribe, to know about it. Right? I can't help myself. I can't keep a secret that is so valuable, and I don't want to. So this is why this is important to us. So Miss Patty, please tell us, or Chris, both of you.
Well, I want to finish my
Sorry,
miracle
go ahead.
story, which I should hold the big bottle because it might take people this much to get through 8 months, almost nine, of surviving two major full hip surgeries. I had both my hips replaced, and I am cooking. It's why I wear the dance pants because I want to remind myself. What did my body worker say? She said, "I can't wait to see you get your swagger back." And yesterday she saw me swagger, and today I just put these funny pants on because I'm reminding myself with every step to savor the fact that I get round two. And all of us living right now have an opportunity to get round two of life, no matter what we're dealing with, health issues, mental, emotional, spiritual. I don't know what it is that my boys are doing down in Texas, but this works. It won the Nobel Prize in 1996. If it won the Nobel Prize today, I would never admit it because that thing's over. But in the 90s, it was an integral honor to get a Nobel Prize in chemistry, which this miracle molecule did. I do want to mention my guys in Texas. We're already making this miracle molecule since 1991, and it received the Nobel Prize in 96. Probably the products came from our lab. Chris, we're being careful about making claims, but we absolutely know that the only famous test that people all over the industries refer to is the 2012 Paris Bhakti study, the longest longevity results in history of extending the life of lab animals. No, we didn't do it with lab animals ourselves. It was a test that was done. They chose our lab to supply the product. And it's the same as in this bottle, C60 Evo organic olive oil. Those rats that were fed this daily lived 90% longer. It was a 5-6 year test. 90% longer, and they died without tumors, which was historic for these rats. Now, when we look at all these longevity products and they claim 12%, we're killing it, somebody's at 18%, we're the best in the world. Sorry, we're at 90%, and it is rats, not humans, but there will be a correlation of life extension. And all those other 12%, 18%, 2%, woohoo, we're huge. They should be taking a look at ESS60 and perhaps adding it to their product, because these are real results. But I made it through both surgeries with a smile on my face. I don't know how I did the ESS60. And I also minimized my intake of all the drugs and meds they gave me for pain, because I didn't have any after the surgeries. And when we look at, I can't say the arthritis word because we have to be mindful of the, agreements with the agencies. But I was told that I had really bad arthritis in my hips, which is grinding bone on bone. And as soon as it was replaced, I have none, zero, zip, zilch. Like I have no pain. And I've got these big parts. I mean, they're really big replacements. I just about croaked when I saw what they were going to put in me twice, but effortless. How can it be this easy? And I know the only thing I changed in my diet in the last 6 years is adding this every day, which is a spoonful of organic oil. And I never did that in my life. So now I've really added lubrication to my life, starting as a senior citizen at 65. And now every day I'm putting these marvelous oils in me, plus the miracle molecule, and having rave results. I just feel like I'm on fire every day. I'm so energized to get going. And now that I get a chance at round two, I encourage everybody in your audience, get a chance at round two, evolve your brain, help your body to lubricate and work better, multiply your immunity, your antioxidants, antiviral. I mean, there are so many everything that's bad for you is going to be fought by this. And if we take it daily, we keep our pets from the vets and we keep ourselves a lot more healthy.
I love that. And, one of the things that we have said over and over and over again to our audience in all of our shows is we don't want to just survive through this greatest transformation in recent human history. We want to thrive through this. We want to thrive and show that circumstances don't determine the quality of our lives, that we are actually much more powerful. And for that, we need to be at our very best. Chris, I can only imagine that sometimes for you as a scientist, because I know the way that you approach things is, here's my theory. Now I'm going to go either prove it or disprove it by testing it. It must sometimes frustrate you that you can't just openly and honestly say what all you have found through your work, because there's always somebody who wants you to keep quiet about it. Isn't that sometimes frustrating that we can't be open and honest?
Yeah, I think like I get, like I know, like from the scientific perspective. I mean, here's, as a scientist, you're basically trained to ignore anecdotal information, right? And that's actually wrong, because the scientific process starts with anecdotal information. Like that is literally how the process works. You have a hypothesis. Hypotheses always come from anecdotal information. You think back to the discovery of penicillin. I'm looking in a petri dish. There's no bacteria around this fungus. My theory, that's an observation. It's an anecdotal observation. My theory is that something in the fungus is killing the bacteria. So now I dig in and explore it. So anecdotes are incredibly important. And then as they just keep accumulating over years and years, they become more important, right? And then you start having theories like the buffering oxidative stress system about the ESS60 molecule in the mitochondria, helping limit the damage that overwhelmed mitochondria might cause in your body. And you start putting all these pieces together, you start to get a clear picture. It still needs to be tested. Like that is the reality. I think what's probably most frustrating is it's so expensive to do these tests, right? When you're talking about, a double-blind, placebo-controlled study, you're in the millions of dollars, and that's a ton of money. You have to, pay for it. Like the next thing that we're going to do is not even on that scale. We actually want to recreate the original rat study, like the way the scientific process is supposed to work. You have a theory, a hypothesis, and it was actually that this molecule would be toxic. And then you do a study to test that hypothesis, and it turns out this molecule extended the life of the test subjects by 90%. And then another lab right, is supposed to recreate those results. And here we are 12 years later, those results have not been recreated yet. And so that's the thing that's what we're working for. Like, we're doing the fundamental testing so that we can go into that as a private investigative kind of unit. And then you want to get into trials. Now, we have done some pretty cool stuff with sleep, right? Because it's one of our most consistent testimonials, and maybe we can talk about this another time. We've actually had 10 people go through a sleep survey study, and all 10 of the people reported better sleep metrics when they actually took the product.
This is incredible. Come on. I mean, if
Come on.
I don't know how many people, I don't know any people who wouldn't want to sleep better. I know some that sleep really good, but most people don't, because of all the stresses that you mentioned earlier. So, and sleep is integral. If you don't get your, at least, I don't know, for most people it's 8, but at least 6 hours of quality sleep, you are duped. Your health is duped. Your psyche is duped. Your everything is duped. So, if that in and of itself is enough for me, like absolutely enough for me. Let's set a date for 50 years from now and see if we can confirm that longevity study. We should do a podcast or whatever they'll have in 50 years and talk about it.
We'll mind meld through the airwaves or whatever.
Probably. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'd love to do that. Miss Patty, please let us know if people are ready to maybe gift this, maybe as a gift. We're getting slowly to that season of the year where people think about gifts. Where can they order? Are there any discounts you guys might offer? Are there any bundles or any subscriptions? How can people do that?
All those things. And if they tap the link below, which is C60EVO evolution.com/inspired channel, you will see his landing page with a lot of products. At the bottom, you see the whole store, and you'll get to see everything we carry. We've pretty much mentioned our products, but I do want to say I encourage everybody to sign up for a monthly subscription, because you'll save 20% right off the bat on every order. And if you don't love it, cancel. Effortless. Write us, call us. We don't ask questions, but most people don't. And you save 20%. It comes every month. If you find that you want a bigger bottle every other month, just let us know and we pop that in the computer. But saving money is a good thing. And no matter what you buy at checkout, use the Inspired Channels code, which you'll see in the link below, for another 10% off. We do have, I think my favorite thing that I send people when I want them to get to know the products is the sampler set. It's one of each flavor, a 4-ounce, 8-ounce, probably 16 and 32, but most people buy the 4-ounce or 8-ounce sampler set. It's all 3 flavors: avocado, olive, and MCT coconut. Killer in your morning coffee. Great on a spoon at any time you want to boost yourself up. And the avocado oil, which I just love the flavor. Roseanne Barr and Ann Vandersteel swear about avocado toast. So you make your toast, slice avocado, put the oil on, sea salt, really yummy. So that's those are the oils, and we have 4-ounce, 8-ounce, 16, 32. This is the 32-ounce size. Really good for stocking up. And for people that want to stock up, share with friends and family, you can buy it by the dozen, any product, and it's 25% off. And if you do that while you've got John's link, use 10% off also. You're going to get a banging deal. And for people that don't like the taste of oil or don't want to take it on a spoon, silly not to, but because it's so easy, capsules. And for anybody traveling, they will
exactly
not
the traveling. Yeah.
But they'll yank this out. So yeah, I gave a bottle to Del Bigtree and they yanked it. So I should have given him caps. Capsules are the way to go for traveling. And also briefcase, purse, car, just leave them in a baggie. We got the dog and cat formula. You talked about the dog so beautifully. It's got bacon essence, and the cat has salmon essence. And we've had a few men write, I want the bacon flavor. That's fine, because it's basically this with a natural bacon essence. So you go for it. Just pretend it doesn't say dogs every time you drip it into your spoon or coffee, whatever. We have an influencer that's so Greek that he actually puts olive oil in his coffee and he loves it. To each their own.
I've never heard of that one. I heard of people putting straight up heavy cream in their coffee. That's a little, or butter. Butter. I've heard the buttered coffee story, but not olive oil.
I do both those every day.
Yeah, no, I'm not the butter thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I will say this. I will say this, that no matter especially as a gift coming up, think about people that could just benefit from a little bit of magic in a bottle, and that, I think that's a wonderful gift to give. And maybe someone has a pet or a senior pet that could benefit from that, and that's a wonderful gift to give to. I know a few people that are going to get the human and the pet version this year. I know that's what's going to happen on our end.
Well, we do pet lover set, which is one for
There you
you,
go.
one for your dog, or one for you, one for your cat. We do sets of inside out, which is inside your body and skin balm. So you can also do it with the body balm. We offer all these different sets, and then we typically throw in this incredible lip balm, which I absolutely love.
I saw you use it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I can still taste it. My lips are still moist. So this is spearmint flavored, and you can taste it, smell it from your lips to your nose. It's so fresh you could slap it. I just love this. And we also have unscented, and you can buy a 4-pack for $28 of both flavors, 2 and 2, or choose your flavor. But oh God, is this good. And for people that work outside, they give us the best testimonials because it lasts for hours, protects your lips. So inside out, lips, full body. We kind of got it all. Your dog, your cat, your horse, your bunny. You can give them all little drips of the organic olive oil or the organic MCT. You'll read up on what kind of animal you have, guinea pigs, whoever you love. Read up and be sure the best of our 3 oils, and just give them a little drop. And I really think people are seeing the difference in their pets. And then you look in the mirror and go, oh, not so bad anymore. Or damn, I look good. But I don't say that at 71, big ego, not anymore. But I do say, damn, I smell good. I feel so good. And I love designing the products and having the guys go, yeah, not really our taste. And then they go, but we trust you. So
There you go.
Chris and I have the coolest team. And we're getting a lot of thank you letters now from around the world, people saying, it's really nice to deal with people with your integrity, because we go naked on the shows. We tell everybody what we think, feel, see, hear, and we just talk about it. And Chris and I are as different as night and day, but the integrity that we share for the company and the world and the patriot energy that we're supporting is food for our souls. And
It totally works. It totally works. The difference is complementing, so it totally works. It's wonderful. As a matter of fact, these conversations always fly by, but they're so information packed. They're so storyline packed. I love that. But at the end of the day, friends, just hop over c60evo.com/inspired channel. Go check it out, browse around, trust your intuition, and give it a try. This is what we always say. And then, and let your dogs and cats have a try too. Miss Patty Greer, Chris Burris, thank you so much for joining us again today. Always an honor and a pleasure. Thank you both.
Thank you, John.
And Inspire Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will be back with you again very, very soon.